If you're trying to get rich, why the heck are you still hanging out with broke people? You have to understand that broke people have limiting beliefs. You might have limiting beliefs right now because you're broke, but guess what? By being around more broke people, that is not helping you. You need to start being around the people that has the type of success and the type of richness that you want to achieve. In order to be able to get to that point, you need to have that energy around you. You need to have a mindset switch, because the reason why you're broke is not because you don't know how to make money. It's because you have a broke mentality, you have a broke mindset. In order to fix that, you need to absorb the mentality of the people that has the mentality of actually obtaining money. Even family members, right? Family members may think, hey, they know how to get rich, they know how to be successful. They like, oh, go to college, dude. Like, they don't, if they don't have the type of results that you want to have, do not take advice from them. That's very controversial. I'm sorry to say that, but honestly, your family members, your friends are not going to give you the best answers if they have not achieved the level of success that you're trying to achieve. So stop taking advice. Stop hanging out with the people that don't have the kind of money that you want to have. I'm not saying, go full ghost mode on everybody, but you need to have a period of time where you lock out those people who don't have the kind of money that you want to have. And not because you're trying to be evil, but because of the fact that you can help them out more once you actually achieve the level of success you're trying to get. When you're actually making $10,000 a month, you're making 20, 50,000, and even $100,000 a month, right? And if those numbers sound absolutely insane to you, then you're hanging around the wrong people. Because guess what? $1,000, $1,000 a month seemed like a crazy amount of money. If you was to go to a place of poverty where people can't even fathom that, that's the richness, right? It's like, literally, you go to somewhere like Africa, like a bad part of Africa, right? Like, literally, I was born in Ghana, right? You go there, you tell somebody you make $1,000 a month, like, whoa, like, what? You're making $1,000 a month? You must be scamming or something like that, right? Guess what? He comes to the U.S. where that kind of money is kind of like low. People on average making $3,000 a month, right? You tell somebody you make $3,000 a month, okay, all right, bet. You tell somebody you make $20,000 a month, like, what the heck? 20,000? What? You a doctor? Oh no, what? You're scamming? You make $100,000 a month? Oh, you're a scammer. You don't. That's not even real. You're lying, right? But guess what? You go around an environment. You go to Beverly Hills, California. You telling people I make $50,000 a month? That's it. Right now, you start hearing numbers like that, where people are talking about they making 100K a month, right? When people are talking about making $1 million a month, right? So it's all about your environment. So you have to understand that if you tell somebody right now you're trying to make $100,000 a month, they not even gonna put the energy out there to believe you can actually achieve that, because they have limiting beliefs themselves. That's why you can't be hanging out with those type of people, because it's all about energy, y'all. I think that took me from making $2,500 a month, $3,000 a month, to making over $100,000 a month at the age of 24 years old. Is simply for me having a mindset switch. I remember the year I was trying to achieve success, right? I remember, actually, I've been trying to achieve success for years and years and years. But at 18 years old, I told myself I would quit my job at a specific date. I told myself, like, I have to quit my job by November 5th, 2022, right? I'll never forget that date, November 5th, 2022. And that was the date I just happened to set myself, because I remember I started my job working in a warehouse for the first time November 5th, 2019. And I told myself I'm gonna give myself essentially like 3 years in order to quit. I'm like, in 3 years, I should be able to be a successful entrepreneur, not working any more jobs. I'm like, by that date, I should not have a 9 to 5. I set that job, and I said that date, not knowing that there's not a single member of my family who's not working a 9 to 5, essentially, who is making the kind of money I was trying to make, who is not sustaining themselves in an economy like the U.S. with just their business. There's not a single person like that, right? And I was like, okay, but I want to be the first. I'm gonna start doing this. I want to make 6 figures, and I told myself I had to make 6 figures before I turned 22 years old. Right, that's what I told myself, and I was locked in. I'm locked in. I'm going crazy. I'm going crazy. And guess what? I remember 2022 came around. Right, it was beginning of 2022, January 2022, and guess what? Yeah, I was still making $3,000 a month at my 9 to 5. My business was making $0. Right, I was like, yo, what have I been doing? Right, I had, of course, started some businesses, failed. Started something, side hustle, failed. Made a little bit of money here, a couple thousand, failed. And I was like, yo, I've been doing all these things for years and years and years, right? But I'm still nowhere. But guess what? I wasn't locked in all that time. I was still hanging out with people who were not having the kind of mentality that I wanted to have, or did not have the kind of drive I wanted to have, or that I have in order to achieve success. So guess what? I just lowered my standard. I started doing what the normal people was doing, what the average person was doing. I started doing what they were doing. And then when I'm like, you know what? The date that I set for myself is coming up. I'm a year away. So what am I supposed to do? I remember I was so stressed out. Y'all, I was so stressed out because I'm like, I set this date. And I told myself, I'm like, if you don't hit it, like when I was 18, I'm like, if I don't hit this milestone, this goal, I am I'm a female dog, if you know what I'm saying, right? And essentially, I just I'm like, you get no girls, you this, you that, you fruity, all types of stuff like that. I'm like, man, I'm not that, so I gotta lock in. I'm like, yo, it's January. 2 years flew by like just like this. I'm nowhere near actually achieving success, right? So I was like, it really felt like giving up. And I'm like, you know what? Because it just seems so impossible. I'm like, yo, I've not done anything these last 2 years worth actually being closer to achieving that goal, right? So I'm like, if I wanted to be able to achieve that goal, I have to have been quit, let's say, beginning of the year, whatever case may be. But I'm like, I'm nowhere near or have a successful business, right? I didn't have a business anymore. Real estate agent, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And I'm like, what do I do? I was almost giving up, and I had to think about it. I'm like, you know what? The moment my mindset wavers, the moment I give up on myself, that is when I fail. You only fail when you give up, right? You only fail when you lose hope and you don't keep trying anymore. I'm like, I haven't failed yet. And I decided to just be more optimistic, right? Instead of being pessimistic, I'm like, let me just be optimistic, because I'm like, me whining about it is not going to help. If I give up now, I'm guaranteed to fail 100%. I'm like, there's still a whole year, 11 months to be exact. I'm like, I still have a whole 11 months, right? That means I'm like, let me just be as excited as possible. I'm like, I don't know what is going to happen this year, but something is magically going to happen. Why? Because I set that goal, and I'm not a liar. I'm not a person who go back on my words. That's my ninja way. But I don't go back on my words. I'm like, okay, I don't know what's gonna happen, but this means that the universe, God, has something planned in store for me. That this is the year that I absolutely blow up doing something right in my business, and I'm able to quit my job. And then I got so freaking happy by me simply telling myself that and having a mindset switch. I got so much more happy. I got so energetic. I'm like, yes, like, I don't know what it is. I'm like, yo, I want now. And I started like tricking myself. Like, oh, I'm so excited. Like, what is this thing that I'm going to discover? What is this thing? What is it? What is it? And I started being so happy. And I just quickly, just like that, turned a moment of sadness into a positive way of thinking, being pessimistic to being optimistic. And guess what? I was being delusional, y'all, because there was nothing that was proven that I had anything. There was no skill set that I felt like I equipped myself with in order to be successful at anything. And I was just like, yo, I'm either going to give up here, or I'm going to be as optimistic as possible and just know that I'm just leaving it up to the universe. And I'm still going to, of course, put the effort into, but I'm like, oh my God, I don't know. I'm like, whoa, I'm so excited. Like, literally just tricking my brain. I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. Like, something is going to happen this year. I know it, because I'm like, this is the year I set for myself. I had nothing, y'all. I had absolutely nothing. I was in $20,000 of debt. I had nothing. I was 20 years old in $20,000 of debt, and I'm over here like, oh my God, something's gonna happen. I don't know what it is. Something's gonna happen. I was genuinely happy just by tricking my mind, right? And at this point, I was no longer hanging out with those type of people. I cut off all those people, like I think 6 months prior, or maybe a few months prior. And I'm like, I really have to just lock those people out now. I have to focus. I have no choice. I have to just lock in. I'm like, you know what? I think, and I start reading a book called Think and Grow Rich. I started reading that book, and it was just focused on manifestation, your mindset, just really locking on those things. And that was also the thing that helped me just like, you know what? I'm just going to be happy. Like, because if I'm sad about it, that's not going to accomplish anything. And I'm like, once again, y'all, I'm broke. I'm in $20,000 credit card debt, high interest. I'm barely getting by, making $2,500 a month. I'm trying to be a real estate agent. I'm trying different side hustles. Nothing is really sticking. And I'm watching videos on mindset, motivation. And I'm like, I'm not going to give up. I don't know what this thing is, but because I set this date, and I'm so certain that I'm going to accomplish this thing by this date without a shadow of a doubt, because I didn't see any other way. Right? I literally, the concept of failure was out of my mind in that moment, right? Because I'm like, I set this up 3 years ago. It wasn't just like I set a date 6 months and then boom, just like that. No. I set up 3 years ago. So even if there's something that is under my radar, like a skill set that I don't even know I have, that I've been building for the last 3 years, or the last, several years, it's all going to come out. I don't know what this thing is, but I know I set it up 3 years ago. So some people be delusional, like, oh, 6 months. If I don't be successful for 6 months, I'm done. Guess what? I give myself 3 freaking years. 3 years. 3 years of building, right? And low-key, the thing that helped me be successful that year and was the skill sets I've been building prior years and years prior, without even knowing I had it as a skill set. I knew I needed a skill set, but I had dormant skill sets essentially, right? But back to what I was saying. I'm like, I don't know what this thing is, but I'm so excited. God, thank you so much, universe. Thank you so much. Like just tricking my brain because I knew that's what I had to do. I had to reprogram my subconscious mind to be as optimistic as possible and believe that I will succeed undoubtedly. And I saw no other future other than success. I genuinely saw no other future other than success. And I told myself if I don't accomplish this thing, I'll be a miserable person for the rest of my life. And that was the thing. So once again, November 5th, that was the date. So January comes around. I started talking to my friend and he said, let's start doing content. You know, I've done side hustles over the years and stuff like that. I've got my real estate license. We can start doing content on that. And me and him have been talking. I gave him that idea that we should start doing that. He's like, yeah, you know, I rock with the content and everything like that. Because I was thinking YouTube and he says TikTok. I'm like, you know what, fine. TikTok is faster to grow. I've seen some of my cousins grow a bunch of followers, but they don't make any money from it. I'm like, but if I'm more educational, I know how to monetize. So if I can get an audience, I'll know how to monetize, whether that's affiliate products, talking about different things, right? So I'm like, you know what? Okay, cool. Because, and this is one of the skill sets I was talking about. Because when I was a kid in high school, I had started a YouTube channel and I was really good at growing YouTube channels. Well, my YouTube channel, I grew like 5,000 subscribers or 4,000 subscribers by the time I graduated high school. That was from sophomore year to junior year, to senior year. I grew like 5K subscribers. And now those numbers don't sound like nothing crazy, but for YouTube, that's something crazy for YouTube, right? But, and I was monetized too. So I'm like, okay, YouTube takes too long, but if I can do this short form content, maybe I can make some money or whatever case may be. I'm like, I can talk about the side hustles I've done over the years and stuff like that. Give people ideas on side hustles because those side hustles genuinely, some of those make me extra $100 a day, $2,000, but it's just like here and there. Okay, I make the money and then okay, that's really it. It's not a sustainable business. It's a side hustle. And I talked about different business ideas that I tried and stuff like that. And another thing was I was really good with credit, right? So yes, granted, my credit was tanked at that point because I had high utilization, but I had perfect credit history. I had like strong credit age, and think about that: to be 20 years old and $20,000 credit card debt, meaning I had to have $20,000 of credit card limit. In order to get 20,000 credit card limit, they don't just give that away. You have to have good credit in order to even get to that point. I got there when I was 20 years old, so I knew I had something going. So fast forward, I had just turned 21 because my birthday was January 7th. And then I'm strategizing with my friend about like different ideas and stuff like that. Or I'm strategizing in my head about different ideas. I'm like, I just liking on the content or something of that sort. And I started doing content. And I remember my friend was like, hey, let's go test out our dream cars right now. Let's go to the dealership. And I'm like, yo, what? They're not going to believe us. I'm like, you know what? Let me stop being pessimistic. Let me be optimistic. It's for the point of manifestation. So let's just go. I remember I test drove a Corvette C7. And I'm like, oh, this is so nice. I remember I even put a deposit down. I barely even had put it on more on my credit card. So I had my credit card limit total was $2,500. I mean, $25,000. And I had used 20,000 of it. So I still had 5K. So I still had a little bit of wiggle room. So I put $5,000 just to be really all invested. And of course, I got, not $5,000, $500. And I got my $500 deposit after I test drove it and everything of that sort. And like it was like a couple days, they processed it, returned it. But we literally just decided to lock in, and I'm so grateful to my friend for this. But I was procrastinating on the videos. It was the demons in me, right? Honestly, just kind of holding me back. My friend came to my house. He's like, bro, I'm not leaving this house until you post this video because you keep procrastinating. And of course, he did it because he's like, bro, if you can post, it's gonna help me post more consistent because we're actually on this accountability thing. Because I say we should be accountability partners. It was something I saw in the video. Or maybe I read in a book or something like that. And then I was like, you know what? I think this is a sign from God and the universe because like, what will possess him to just come here? Like, yes, it's going to benefit him as well too, right? If I'm posting consistently because then we can hold each other accountable. But I'm taking this as a sign from God to just really lock in on this thing. This thing is really going to change. I think it's a crazy sign. I'm like, yo, there's no way this man pulled up to the house and did this. This is a sign. This is external forces really pushing to make sure we actually lock in on this. Like, yo, you're being stupid. So I locked in on that, and literally within 6 months, my life completely changed. I remember I hit my first $10,000 month profit on my 6th month. On my 7th month, I made $30,000 in a single month profit. A year from that time, from like completely start, maybe like 13 months to be exact, I hit my first $50,000 month profit once again. and I went and bought a Corvette C8, y'all. I went and bought a Corvette C8. So I skipped the C7. I went and bought a Corvette C8. And maybe 2 years from that time, I was literally in a high-rise penthouse, literally 34 floors up, glass to ceiling windows, literally corner unit, overseeing Lake Michigan, and everything completely insane. Changed my whole entire life. Had changed by that point. Traveling around the world, moving here to here to here, and just everything. I remember my rent for the high rise was $6,000 a month. I'm not living in there anymore, and I'm making more money now than even then. But the only reason I just wanted to test it, just see what it was like. That was one of the things on the vision board too, right? But bought the dream car, moving into dream high rise, making the kind of money I wanted to make, and just making what I used to make in a year, in a whole entire month. Unfathomable, insane. I remember I got a wire for $42,000 hit my account in one day. I'm like, bro, what the heck? $42,000. I've never seen this kind of money. It was absolutely insane. And over the span of, actually not even, it was in the span of a day. 30,000 hit one day, another 10,000 hit, another 12,000 hit a different day. So actually, no, my bad. 32,000 hit in a day and 10,000 hit another day, if I recall that correctly. So it was in a span of a week, right? Span of 7 days, $42,000 hit my bank account. And I'm just like, bro, what is this? This is insane, right? So, and it was all all started from fixing my mindset, switching my environment. And now at that time, the people I was hanging around with was everybody who was locked in. Was all locked in. Like I said, I gave you the example of how one of my friends came to my house to push me to post, right? And all my friends, we was always go to the library and just focus on scripting content, giving each other ideas on hooks. Like, oh, that sounds good. Oh, this would sound better. I think this would make me watch the video more, and just literally strategizing. So I changed my circle and started hanging out with people who all had similar goals, right? We was all broke at the end of the day, right? Was all broke, but our mentalities were rich, right? So when I say, don't hang around with broke people, whatever case, broke family members, I'm talking about really just a mindset, really, because everybody have to start somewhere. Everybody who's rich, unless they was born into wealth, they started off broke, right? Or not with a lot of money and had to grind all the way up. But they always had the mentality, the rich mindset. So when I say rich, it's not really in just, pockets having physical money, but you can have money, richness in your mindset, right? So find people that have that rich mentality, lock in with those people, and undoubtedly it will help you succeed. All right, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Check out any of my other videos. You check out this video on how to manifest your dream life, or you check out this video on why you should not be with a traditional woman. All right, catch y'all on the next one.